Hello, everyone and no one, and welcome to another Talking Into the Void. Apparently, I had some technical difficulties and things wanting to be stupid on my computer. Should I get back over to this? But join me as always is Tier Alexander. Tier, you there? I think he's off doing something. We're also joined by Angela. Angela, how you doing?
Hi there, I'm alive and present.
Yeah, fun times.
Yes.
Like I
How are
even
you doing?
I even restarted my computer just to be safe, and then been like, hmm, let's look up. My mic's not working on this one. Oh, it's because it's saying the apps don't have access to your freaking thing. So, like, or Discord and OBS can't see it.
Of course.
It's just fun fucking times. Also, it's up functional. It's up, Mitch. Oh, I have absolutely nothing because I'm still flabbergasted at the moment.
Great work.
What did I get in my bookmarks? Uh, Still thought it was funny. Apparently, PolitiFact had a thing to where uh, in 2019, Kamala Harris spoke in favor of mandatory programs to buy back assault weapons. As Vice President Harris focused on other gun measures, she has not called for confiscating guns broadly. And they got fucking community note that's like, you do realize mandatory is like a whole thing.
Uh-huh. Like you understand words, don't
Yeah, yeah, the mandatory required by law. Just, I'm still just slightly annoyed at the fact that shit happened.
you? Well, I mean, I found finally getting all of my medical stuff taken care of, and they're going to be revoking my uh Medi-Cal after the 31st because I made too much money on it. So,
Oh, don't you love that?
just grand.
It's like you make too much to qualify for the help, but you don't make enough to freaking do other stuff.
Yep.
Yes. My location.
I'm sorry, what?
Tier, if you're gonna be on the phone, you probably ought to mute yourself.
Okay. So that wasn't meant for us. Okay.
Probably not. Did he mute? No, he didn't. I will mute him for the moment while he looks like he's on the phone or something. Oh, just fun times. Mitch, if you want to join, hell, functional, if you want to join as well, you're more than welcome to. We're just trying not to go a whole metric fuck ton of people. I probably ought to get a thing of yours as well to add to the ones floating around or of your
And the avatar.
avatar.
Okay. I didn't realize you were fishing for the word, otherwise I would have been faster.
Yeah, I actually felt like I had accomplished stuff today somewhat, and then the whole mic issue happened. I'm just like, son of a bitch, what the fuck is going on? Goddamn motherfucker.
Wow.
Oh, I
Without all the big words.
well, yeah, that's typically what happens.
I'm- I was just messing with you. Okay.
Let's see. Tier.
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry. Uh, somebody was messing around in the back, so I had to call the police.
Yeah,
I'm
when that
gonna take that
happens, you
down.
probably should have muted just to be safe. So that's why I muted you for a bit.
Oh,
We
sorry.
didn't know what was going on. I mean, hopefully you won't end up like what's her name, the black woman that ended up getting shot by the cops that was like schizophrenic and shit.
Well, I'm smart enough not to do something stupid, so
Well, I hope that Tier's not schizophrenic and holding out on it.
well,
Huh.
I'm not, and I'm not stupid enough to do something that will require me to get shot. So
Oh shit! Did you guys
yeah.
hear? I know Monkey shared it. The Secret Service had to apologize to a Massachusetts salon owner because they covered her security camera with duct tape. Broke into her salon by picking the lock, and then directed people to use the bathroom of the salon, and none of this had been approved for the person who owned the salon. Like,
Oh fuck
just
no!
straight up left the fucking place unlocked for like 2 hours.
Fuck no!
Like, why the fuck did
What?
they duct tape over the camera? That's what I want to know.
Because they knew they were doing something illegal.
They weren't supposed to get caught.
Why were they there? That's what I want to know.
Because there was a Kamala Harris event.
Okay, so that doesn't.
Like the salon
That
had
salon
to,
owner's about to be rich.
yeah, the salon owner had to close it down for the event or whatever. So it's like she expected that, but then they covered the freaking camera and then did that as or that. Hey, what's up,
She's
Mitch?
about to be a rich one.
Yeah.
What up, Mitch?
Let's see. The last thing I heard on the actual stream before I popped in was, I wonder why they were actually there.
Yeah.
And about that salon break-in. They weren't there because of Kamala Harris. The duct tape on the camera demonstrates that.
Yeah.
They had something more nefarious in mind. Maybe President Trump is going to be in the area and they're scouting new locations to put one of their snipers to take a
Or
shot at him
maybe-
again.
Or maybe Harris is the target.
Growing
Honestly,
support by. Yeah.
that wouldn't surprise me either, and here's why. I would not be surprised if they try to kill Harris in order to drum up what do you call it, sympathy votes,
Support.
and this time they wouldn't miss.
Yeah.
They would make sure of it.
Well, yeah, they realize that their freaking candidate's a lame duck.
Oh, severe.
Well, not. I mean, lame duck would be an improvement. Harris is if you'll pardon the military expression, a clusterfuck.
Uh-huh.
Adding Tim Walz to the ticket is a multi-layered clusterfuck.
Honestly, Kamala was
Well,
Joe's insurance policy.
I honestly think that, well, honestly, I think that's what the Walls guy is nobody's, he's probably the one person that they would like less than Kamala Harris in the presidency.
So essentially, he's her insurance policy.
That's exactly what I just said here.
Yeah.
That is
but
literally word for word what I just said here.
yeah, but you went a roundabout way to say it.
No, I said it and then I explained what I said because you just went quiet.
Oh, sorry.
I find it weird that I'm constantly finding myself in a position where I have to remind people that it's a bad idea to underestimate the villainy of villains. This is, to put it in Marvel Comics terms, this is some Hydra level shit. Do you remember the speech that oh god, what was it? It was Dr. Zhivago. No, it was Captain Video. What the fuck was that guy's name? He was Red Skull's fucking science guy in the first Captain America movie.
Oh,
Arnim Zola.
Zola. Yeah.
Captain Science. What did I call him? Captain Midnight? No. whatever
Captain
the fuck
Science.
Armin Zola.
Let me see. I got to find his speech. Arnim Zola from Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Well, he was
Because
in the original Captain America.
oh, hang on. Let's try this Arnim Zola speech. See if I can find it that way.
Functional still there. Is the picture he uses on Twitter his actual picture?
I'm not sure if that is his actual picture or not.
Do we want a copy of his picture?
I'm just looking to do a little avatar thing, and I'm just going to throw his into the mixture.
Hold on, let me grab it. I know I downloaded it here.
I was going to grab his one off Twitter.
Well, I was going to just email you the one I have for him.
Well, there's no sense in emailing it to me when you can
I mean, not
DM me.
email it. DMing you. My bad. God damn it.
Damn it.
Oh.
I'm going to have a hell of a time finding this because I put specific search term into the internet. And they don't want the fucking video, damn it. Oh, there it is. Maybe. Hopefully. Let's see.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Yo, Green.
Bonk. Save.
Got it.
Quick.
This is exactly what we're seeing happen today in politics. Hey, Green Badger.
Hey, what's up, Badger?
This is a little snippet from Captain America: The Winter Soldier when Arnim Zola says, "Hydra was founded on the belief that humanity could not be trusted with its own freedom. What we did not realize was that if you try to take that freedom, they resist. The war taught us much. Humanity needed to surrender its freedom willingly. After the war, S.H.I.E.L.D. was founded and I was recruited. The new Hydra grew, a beautiful parasite inside S.H.I.E.L.D. For 70 years, Hydra has been secretly feeding crisis, reaping war. And when history did not cooperate, history was changed." That's what's happening right now.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I submit to you that Captain America: The Winter Soldier could not be made today in modern Hollywood.
Because it would spill the beans.
Well, it undermines what they're doing.
Yep.
Let's see.
Too much
Hydra
truth.
created a world so chaotic that humanity is finally ready to sacrifice its freedom to gain its security. Once the purification process is complete, the COVID, the sterilization of people in the form of or in the guise of sex transitions, etc. Hydra's new world order will arise. We won, Captain. Your death amounts to the same as your life, a zero sum.
And
well, you do realize
to
that,
cut you off for just a second, it's functional. Like I said, if you want to join in the convo, you're more than welcome to. And what I'm doing is your avatar is going to get added to this background.
His avatar is huge.
Well, that's to have it. Because one, I made it bigger, and two, I also went and magnified in.
Well, yes. I just find it fascinating that is that kind of a case of when they tell you who they are, pay attention.
Yeah,
Yeah.
listen when they tell you who they are.
Yep.
You do realize that one of the potential side effects of um, the the shot, the immunization for
The
COVID,
COVID.
was sterilization also.
Yes. The
And
one of my
that's why I'm a pure blood.
yeah, me too. I never took that shit. I never even took a test because I knew.
I didn't take it either. So I worked for
Fucking
TSA.
son of a bitch.
I work for TSA, right?
Okay.
Hey, what's
And
up,
they-
Mitch?
they-
Yeah, Mitch. Functional.
Uh,
Just fuck.
Hi,
And-
functional.
Oh God, my
and-
brain is starting to die.
and they were forcing us to get. If you didn't get it, you had to do weekly testing.
Yeah.
And I didn't take it. I found one. I did one once, and then I stopped. Like fuck this shit. Like honestly, I don't need you nanny goating me about my own health. It is my risk to take.
Why are you stealing my artwork?
You're
He
you're
wants to
Because
have
with
a
these,
you're getting
he
added
wants
to
to have
the
a version of the
club.
avatar you can float around on screen when you join in.
Yeah.
When? Oh my! So you're
Like now.
Not only are you stealing my artwork, you're using it to coerce me to come on to your show.
No, I actually invited you onto the show before I even took your artwork.
I wasn't listening. I just had it on in the background while I was actually doing artwork.
Because I was asking if this picture was of you actually or not.
It's stylized and run through Photoshop and filters and stuff.
Okay.
I mean, basically, yeah.
it's him.
So you are surrounded by a checkerboard pattern most of the time.
Yes.
If we
Good to
saw
know.
him on the street, we would say,
That's why-
"Hey, that looks like that avatar on."
But that's
Hey,
why
I look at it got
when
functional.
you zoom in into the background, the cityscape is all distorted and warped. It's just the filters that
Oh, yeah.
changed it to like a more stylized version. 'Cause I don't
Well,
want
yeah,
it. I don't want like no. Honestly, Angela, like if you saw me on the street and held this picture up, you'd be like, "Oh, okay." But if you were just walking down the street and you saw me, you wouldn't be like, "Oh, well, that's functional." It's intentionally distorted to not show my like real face, even though it's got my facial features.
See, mine
That's
is
like one that's just like, hey, it's that asshole functional.
mine is my actual face, but it's
Well-
what do you call it? It's face swapped onto a
Yeah.
onto Peter Capaldi as Doctor Who.
Oh, I thought that was
Really?
Jack the Ripper.
Oh, I was totally figuring it was a
Here-
Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing.
Here just thinks we all look alike.
That's true.
Yeah, y'all do.
I mean,
All
I
of
can
y'all.
tell you right now, I look nothing like my avatar. Any of the
I look
variations
exactly
I've
like my
made.
avatar.
We hope not. Right.
I look exactly like my avatar says I look like.
I'm
I
actually
have a
really-
monocle.
You know, I wonder if I actually have the PSD to just send you.
I'm having fun with it.
I
It
have a
gives
monocle.
your hands
damn it.
something to do while you chit and chat on the stream.
I mean, it's either this or I can boot back up Satisfactory while I talk to y'all.
I'm okay watching you
No, I didn't actually.
play with
Just other avatars I have.
Functional's avatar.
I'm
Okay,
actually-
That
I'm
took a
actually-
turn.
I'm shockingly disappointed in the people of the West for buying into COVID right away. And it was
Yeah.
right away. Everyone really they jumped on that shit like it was going
Why
to
not
get them
stop?
laid.
Ooh, govern me harder, Daddy.
Kind of.
Well, in some cases, it was going to get them laid, I'm sure.
Probably, but to never even ask the question, why did these testing kits show up so quickly?
And why
did-
did they come from China?
Who's making the testing kits? What are the kits actually testing for? Because it was way too fast to have a pathogen isolated for an existing thing.
And especially with
that's
variants.
why the the first gen test, all were telling people who had the common cold that they had COVID.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. it was stupid to jump all over that shit like it was like, you know what it is? I call it's the Star Trek effect.
And
That-
then I turned around and I had like an hour argument with my roommate about the fact that the news actually turned around and told us that there were people who just had colds that were being told that they had COVID. And that it was because the cold is also a coronavirus.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they're like, no, that's not true. For like 2 hours, I had to explain to them.
Well,
And
yeah, see,
finally, my roommate looks it up and is like, oh,
ooh,
why?
Mitch, it's actually those tests are that's why they picked up on common cold and flu. That's just a really archaic way of testing, like actual testing to see if you have a rhinovirus or a coronavirus. Typically, a doctor will just be like, "What are your symptoms?" You'd be like, oh, "Okay, you have the flu, you have the cold."
right.
They'll feel your glands. You're swollen. Your tonsils look a little puffy, etc., etc. So that's
For
just
some odd
logical
reason, they've
reasoning
always
that
got to look at
they're
your
not
butthole.
actually testing you. If they were to do a test, it would be that exact same test. But yeah, like one of the biggest manufacturers of those things. Anybody take a wild guess
Merck,
where that would be located?
Pfizer,
China.
You're getting warmer.
Wuhan Labs.
you're burning hot. It's not the lab itself. There's
was gonna say,
manufacturing
it's
concerns in
West Norfolk.
Wuhan that actually produce those things, and they produce something like 70% of the world's tests. And what were they? The masks and stuff, surgical equipment, PPE.
Right.
Like, follow the money. Follow that money.
Oh, that was
Yeah,
the fun part
it
of.
really was a massive wealth transfer, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
The
that,
biggest in history.
that
and,
was-
and people were drawing attention to it, and nobody seemed like nobody. I mean, like the people at large didn't seem to really give a shit.
And
Well,
I
the
want
people
to
were
point this
really
out too.
panicking because the plague was.
I have to point this out. Donald Trump bought into it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
President
did.
Trump bought into it. But, you know, he knows he's not a doctor, so he took the advice of people he thought he could trust.
Uh-huh.
And
Agreed.
meanwhile, people like myself and the rest of us who simply experience life on a daily basis, I'm not saying President Trump doesn't. I'm saying that his experience is different.
Oh,
Very.
so different.
We're used to being lied to, you know. We live in a position where we have to question everyone's motives.
I mean, I've had a couple coworkers that they were
The one that-
they were more likely to follow the advice, but like when the whole swine flu thing happened as well, they had also caught swine flu.
Sure, they did.
No, like a couple of them, they actually went through it. They're like, I didn't want to have to deal with this. Hello, secondhand. Yeah,
Well,
no-
that's
Thanks for the
what I-
words of encouragement, second.
Mm.
It just bothers me that no one asked any of the important questions, and still a lot of people don't.
Well, I mean, they just kept getting censored off of all
Oh yeah.
that's
major
true.
social media platforms.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing. And what people
Hey,
are still
Travis.
talking about today is that collusion, that complete and utter like deference
Travis.
to the powers that be to run
Go,
their
Travis.
propaganda and have zero dissent. That's why I think that fuck Ukraine, fuck Israel. The U.S. military, Trump day one, has to be like, you know what? I said we're not going to start any new wars. But
I
our
mean it.
cousins across the pond have been seized, captured, and we need to go liberate the United Kingdom.
I almost want to do that.
I know. It's so like you just, but at the same time, you're like, you know what? Home's kind of in disarray. It's where the focus needs to be.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. Green Badger writes, I tried one of those tests on the inside of my oven and it tested positive. That's what I'm talking about. What does the test actually test for? We know what it says on the label. You know, we know what they tell us, but that doesn't mean shit in a world where advertisers and marketing people lie to us regularly.
Mhm.
It doesn't mean shit where
You're talking about the
big
ones that
business interests are put above the actual health and actually safety of the population.
are you talking about the ones that like they're like home pregnancy tests and have a little indicator right there?
Yeah.
Green
No.
Badger? Or
No,
the ones
oh,
that you
Green
just
Badger,
swab your fucking nasal cavity and then send it to a lab? Because that's, I mean, they're very
quality
very
boring.
different, and the ones that you get sent to a lab are the ones that are typically more reliable. But even
Even
then,
then, who's
it's so
who's working in the lab?
it's yeah, true, but I mean, it's so superfluous because you can test somebody and be like, okay, you have an upper respiratory infection, you have a rhinovirus. Like the prescription for all of them are basically the same. Lots of fluids, get lots of rest, take anti-inflammatories and painkillers as needed without overdoing it, and just
Yeah.
fucking chill the fuck out. Let your body fight the infection.
Hey, look,
Obviously,
me
there
going
are
out.
people who are outliers to that, like elderly and the
Yeah.
incredibly young. But
Oh, and those
that's not
employers that want you to come to work no matter what,
Yeah.
those
but
people.
then give you shit if you come to work sick and infect the crew.
Well, I kind of didn't have a
Uh-huh.
choice because technically, if I didn't go to work, I could go to jail.
That's a thing.
Military.
Yep. Oh, the funnest thing was dealing with the people that were completely idiots about it because they didn't know whether they'd have it, and then they hear terms, they start saying those same terms. Like, what's the more popular one for law that always gets put out there?
Jurisprudence.
Popular for what?
It came up to
Oh, the tortious interference.
yeah, the tortious interference. A couple people
yeah.
that I worked with heard asymptomatic. I'm like, oh, I'm asymptomatic. I'm like, oh, so you have coronavirus? Like, no, I'm asymptomatic. I was like, yes, asymptomatic means you have it, but you're not showing symptoms, dumbass.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not the smartest fucking man,
Oh,
but I'm not
me
that
either.
dumb.
But I did take the advice that George Carlin gave one time when he said when he was talking about preheating an oven. You don't need the prefix pre. You heat an oven. You don't need to preheat it. You mean you don't it's like when he was talking about pre-boarding a plane. What does that mean? You get on before you get on?
you board the plane.
Yeah, you board the plane. And he also said fuck you, I'm not getting on the plane, I'm getting in the plane.
In
Let
the
Evel
plane.
Knievel get on the plane. But his point was ultimately let's pay attention to the language we've all agreed upon. And he's right. Almost every instance of the prefix pre is pointless. How do you predate something? Do you make it happen before it happened? I mean, you might be able to do that on official documents.
No, yes, it all
Birth
depends.
certificate.
It all depends on how it uses. If you're saying like this thing predates something else, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that does. That one does make sense.
Like it would make like it's probably not logically correct or Englishly correct or whatever, grammatically.
Correct.
You know, it'd been like I predated my wife.
Yeah, exactly.
That
Well,
just
since you
makes
bring up a
creepy, and I would warn your wife.
Well, the joke in that one is basically it's like you dated her before you got married, so technically, you predated her. I don't know.
No, still that's pre-marriage, not pre-date. Speaking of spouses, here's another. Let me see if I can get this out.
Oh,
Here's
God.
another pack of asshole couples that need to be sterilized by fire. To follow on my George Carlin theme, These couples that bounce around saying, we're pregnant. No, you're not. Shut the fuck up. She's pregnant. You got to be tolerant. That's how it's going to work.
Yep.
This we're pregnant shit. We're having a baby. Fine. That's true. That's grammatically accurate. We're pregnant. Dude, stop being a woman.
Uh,
The woman is pregnant. Don't try to steal her thunder, you fucker.
And then it's kind of funny to just say, you know, the of like what sounds okay, and like something that you'll congratulate someone on versus like what not to really say. It's like, you know, we're trying to it's like to have a child. Okay, you know, that's understandable, but if you're just going this like, yep, we're just raw dogging it every chance we get. Not exactly the same.
No, it's not. And you know, it's a question of polite conversation, and it's topic. It's kind of determined by the topic you're discussing. If you're discussing having a baby. Yeah, we're raw dogging it. That's just weird way to say it.
Raw dogging it and cream pieing every night.
Yeah,
ugh.
she's putting out like a $2 whore. You know, you can't say that. Just say you're trying to get pregnant.
Cringing.
Just-
Stop.
I'm just saying. Just say you're trying to have a baby. That's fine. We keep trying. That's all you need. The rest is sort of,
A little too much detail.
well, not only that, but the context of the topic of discussion tells you what you need to know.
Exactly. If I don't need you to spell out to me that clearly you have not used a condom in a while.
And you know what's really worse is when my brother-in-law one time told me about how he got laid last night, and I'm like, oh God, I don't want to know this about my sister.
Oh,
What are you going to do next? Give me details? Draw me schematics? Shut up. Let's see. Let's return to the chat real quick. Green Badger answers. It was some home quick test. It was a while ago, and there's a lot of Guinness in between then and now. Let's see. Travis writes, never took
I
one,
do
but
hope
I
you-
have negative and positive tests in case I need to get out of something.
Ooh.
I do hope you made your oven wear a mask and social distance for.
Oh, no
Uh,
kidding. That shit too. The the mandates, okay? The mandates. This is the United States of America, motherfucker.
How misogynist of you.
We have a Bill of
Why
Rights
can't they
here.
be woman dates?
Don't start.
That would be misandrous.
And remember, it wasn't the Crips and Bloods who enforced illegal mandates. It was the fucking police who enforced illegal mandates. We learned everything we needed to know about American law enforcement during that time. Arresting people for being outside, for going to the beach, for opening a barber shop.
Oh.
They brutalized one barbershop owner for opening his barber shop. No one was even coming in.
Yeah.
But because he opened it, they fucking brutalize him.
Oh, don't forget, we can go back to the modern day thing of how we have a it's like a running for vice president who says that he's like pro gun and pro free speech and just tells people that they should mind their own business, but then fucking started a snitch hotline.
Yeah. You can
hate
push a
people.
$2 hoe to the limit. They don't mind. Jeez, Green Badger.
Wow.
How's that greeting card business coming?
Uh-huh.
Probably not the best.
I'm kind of surprised that a fuck you greeting card business never really took off.
Actually, there are a couple.
I know, but they never really took off. You know, they're not.
You don't hear a lot.
You don't
about
have
them.
whole sections devoted to them in supermarkets.
No.
You have to go like to specialty store like Spencer's Gifts or something, or Hot Topic, or you'd have to order them online. But you can't or print them yourself even. But there's no major section in the Hallmark store for a nice, healthy fuck you sideways in the ass with a big rubber dick card.
Okay.
Oh, you're graduating high school.
How you really feel.
So, hey, congratulations. You graduated high school. Now you're going to have to learn how to suck cock like the rest of us.
Oh boy.
I'm not saying they're poetic.
You make life sounds so wonderful,
I know.
Mitch.
I'm sorry.
There we go.
I just think children should be raised with a sense of reality.
I agree. To an extent. Not necessarily that bad, but
I mean, and let's do a little
My
simple
goddamn mic is
analysis.
fucking up. All right. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
And now
What happened? You
it
start
goes.
Star
I
Trek
hate
Online
fucking
again? And Discord decided to
Jesus
throw you out?
motherfucking Christ. Discord ain't worth shit.
Oh no, he can't hear us.
Hello? Y'all can hear me?
We can hear you.
We could hear you
Yes.
before.
I couldn't hear you guys. I could see you guys avatar lighting up, but I couldn't hear you. Motherfucking Discord. What I said was really quickly when you bring up Tim bullshit, I said that he made a sanctuary state for trans kids.
Oh yeah, that too.
A child can go there, get transgender surgery, and won't be extradited back to their parents. That shit is fucking. He talks about, oh, mind your business, but you're not minding your business when it comes to my child.
that's terrifying.
Well, the only reason he's saying telling people to mind their business is because of him putting his foot in his mouth and lying about what he was. He didn't retire as an E9. He went to school. It's like he was in the school for it, and because he was in the Guard, they will usually grant him the rank. But since he didn't fully complete the requirements for the rank and didn't have it on because he didn't complete the full requirements for it, nor have it on usually for like 2 years, he retired as one rank lower.
Now, I thought the National Guard was just supposed to be domestic. Like, I until I heard about all this stuff, I didn't even know they got deployed other places.
Oh yeah, like that's
In times of war, they're actually often the first.
Right. For
Yeah.
some reason.
That's why, like in my first deployment in 2012, I actually got delayed leaving Afghanistan because a reserve unit was supposed to be going back.
Oh, my.
Well, with the Guard and Reserve, because they're not active duty, them staying there longer costs the federal government more money than it normally would. Like,
Right.
like active duty is a basically giant fuck you to a lot of that shit. So during that whole thing, I got to be in the transient tents, and then apparently, I guess there was a group or whatever that was in that same tent as well, because it's like one tent with like 14 beds.
Mhm.
I'm asleep in that whole thing because I was just sticking with the schedule that I was at. Because again, it was like I had to wait like 2 days or something. But they go to wake. The one guy goes to wake up. He's like, "Yo, man, we got to go do this thing." Oh shit, you're not in my group. I am so sorry. Go back to sleep.
That's creepy.
Oh, because like for a lot of deployed locations, you might not always get to sleep when you want to.
Ah.
That's one of the rules. Says, hey guys, holy shit. Sleep and eat when you can.
Yep.
Because you're going to be loaded up and waiting for the rest of the time for the most part.
I mean, mine wasn't too bad considering the fact I was doing a special duty for an office job, which I actually did pretty well at. Because like when I lost rank flat out, like the person, like mine, because our squadron had gone away, so we were just part of the group. So when I lost staff sergeant, it was removed by a full bird colonel instead of a major.
Whoa.
And he wanted to go through and been like, oh, if he failed, a couple PT tests and whatnot, he must be a piece of shit. And like my boss, the first sergeant, apparently they even kind of got the chief on it, I think, from what it sounded like. They're like, no, 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 no. He does his job. He does his job. He does his job properly. We don't want to diminish what he does.
Why did this? I hate it when I have a thought occur to me and then it jumps back out again.
Called old age, old man.
I know it, man. Jesus Christ. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I call it my brain being an asshole.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I remember now. We fail to do a certain type of critical analysis in this country. And it's I'd say critical analysis, but it's not like super deep thought or anything. It's a very simple question.
Mhm.
When has our government done anything to earn our trust? One simple question. And but meanwhile, we got all these people who want to run to government to solve problems.
I want to point out that that probably hasn't happened since John Adams and
I'll agree.
Thomas Jefferson.
Actually, I would say it. The furthest or earliest I can think back would be JFK, to where he was legitimately fighting not to get us off the gold standard and shit like that.
That's true.
Okay.
Like some of the things that
Only he succeeded.
Yeah, some of the like he did not have the greatest presidency, but like a lot of the stuff that he tried to stop, like the Federal Reserve and whatnot, were admirable things for him.
Freaking CIA.
But you could also make the argument that regardless of his title, even as president of the United States, one man is not the government.
No.
No.
So you could argue that way too, I suppose.
Yeah. Oh, because there was definitely people in the government that was trying to get it towards that. That's why, like I said, of that one official.
It's an important question. We never ask it. We're always like, we think President Trump being reelected is going to solve some problems, and
No.
it'll make a difference in the short term. That's it.
But like you said, once he dies or once he's out of office, then
Right.
It
Then what do we
might-
do?
Okay. It may right the economy to the point that if we vote properly,
to
we
quote
won't
my
have
favorite,
foundering again.
so to quote Odo in one of his best lines ever, the problem with giving people the choice is sometimes they make the wrong one.
True enough. This is why honestly, one of the things I hope President Trump does a complete shutdown on the Federal Department of Education,
Mm-hmm.
or create a new program in the Department of Education that requires, in order, because basically the Federal Department of Education cannot issue mandates for the states. All they can do is offer funding in exchange for adopting a program, essentially a bribe.
Do this.
That's
Get this.
why everyone adopted Common Core. It's because adopting it is attached to funding
Mm-hmm.
for the state school system. So
God,
what
I hate
President
Common
Trump
Core.
ought to do is, and he can do this, I think it falls within his purview as the head of the executive branch. He can issue an executive order to shut down all programs that do not exclusively include a civics curriculum, reading, writing, and mathematics, and proper history. I think he can do that. I think that's within his purview as president of the United States.
He's gonna be
You know?
calling for every inch. Every inch. He's gonna be clawing for it.
Probably. But remember this too, though, that I like President Trump. Okay, I liked his time in office, but I have some serious concerns. And God help him if I ever interview him, because I will press him on these matters. He put Betsy DeVos in charge of the Federal Department of Education. She was there for 4 years, and we still have Common Core. Why is that?
Yeah.
Why didn't we get a new program that's aimed at actually educating children and not geared toward indoctrinating them and fouling their thinking?
Mitch, if you
Yeah.
ever get a chance to interview President Trump, I want to play. You should play good cop, bad cop.
Maybe. But
It's
oh, go on.
it's not a defense of him, but I understand why it happened. Because, and this was true with a lot of things in his administration, is because he's the outsider, he doesn't know the backroom deals. He doesn't know how people are really, not the persona or the CV that he's given on these people. And
The
so we saw it
facade.
time and again. I and again, it's not a defense, but I understand why these things happen. And that was something he could have caught but didn't, because it wasn't on his radar. It wasn't a big, sexy, wet issue for him to keep making himself look good. You know, peace in the Middle East and good
Right.
taxes and domestic manufacturing. These are hot, sexy issues right now, and they were then as well. But there were some. Getting rid of Bolton was like, fuck yeah.
Oh yes.
You
But-
really should have nuked Fauci
and-
from fucking orbit.
And this is an argument I have with one of these so-called intellectuals on Twitter that I just stopped paying attention to because it's fucking retarded. But you know, the whole RNC leak this week was, you know, reported by Microsoft and blah 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 blah. I'm like, okay. So you know, we go from we'll be dancing on the streets of Tehran and bomb Iran to the assassin was actually put on by Iran, and now the RNC was hacked by Iran. Like, if you're not stupid, you can start drawing and connecting the dots. You don't have to believe them because there's no evidence either way. There's no
Right.
evidence, and there's no way me as an individual, as a nobody on the fucking internet, am ever gonna find out this information.
Agreed.
But I can
Exactly.
draw those lines and say to myself, okay, who do I trust the least? And
My own
I'm sorry,
fucking
but in
government.
this case, I trust Microsoft the least. The guy's like trying to tell me, oh, but they employ. There's some Trump supporters who work at Microsoft. And what does that have to do with anything?
The price. What that got to do with the price
Nothing.
of tea in China?
Yeah,
Not a damn thing.
Even if that was the case, even if there are Trump supporters, like they don't control shit.
Yeah.
No. Not at all.
it could literally be Bill Gates and this is just, you know, hyperbole, but Bill Gates talking to one of his multiple fixers and saying, deal with this, like do this, this, and this, and it gets done. You think anybody in the company is going to know about that? Fuck no.
Of course not.
Why do you think nobody's come forward with proof of him being on Epstein Island like 45 fucking times?
Yeah.
And again, honestly,
I'll tell
this
you
is
why.
my honest to God belief. If Trump was truly on that island, they'd have threw everybody on that under the fucking bus to get to him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure that they would.
They threw enough people under that bus.
Here's the problem with throwing anyone under that bus is that the second one person is really nailed on it, that person is going to name names.
Mhm.
That's the only reason we don't have a client list, is because if you release one, it's going to lead to it's going to snowball essentially.
I
can't disagree with
hope,
that.
I super hope Trump had nothing actually had nothing to do with any of that. And that when he does come in, he goes, you know what? Here you go, internet.
Yep.
And good God, would that flip the fucking table?
Yes, it would.
So
Yep.
many people, so many like influential people, institutions, entire institutions and agencies and everything would immediately come under attack.
You know what it
And
would
I'm,
be?
I'm not just talking, criticism. I'm talking people going, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And actually taking up arms against the government because
Oh, probably.
this kind of stuff is that level of egregious. I think.
That would be called in history books in the future. That would be called the Great Unfucking.
Yeah.
You can only hope and pray that this happens. Now, do I think it's likely to happen? No, not really.
No.
Nothing's ever going to change. I mean, the machine is just so big.
And honestly, I think
It's become the unstoppable force. Even if it crushes under its own weight, it's still going to keep going in some manner or fashion.
And
What's the
mind
saying? The
you,
bureaucracy protect the bureaucracy.
hold on just a second. And the way he could actually go about doing it
I
has
can
been
barely
like,
hear you, man.
did my fucking levels fuck up on me again?
I
Yeah,
think
your levels
it-
I
again.
think so. You're like 25% quieter.
No,
Uh,
my better.
Yeah.
Nope.
Getting there.
Okay, I shouldn't have
You
to have
sound
my
like
damn.
you're streaming
There
on
you
another channel.
are.
Apparently, I gotta turn the mic a little bit. There we go.
It does help to talk into your microphone.
Well, I have it somewhat by me, and that whole thing. I guess I was a little too far away and it leaned and whatnot. Is what Trump could
You're
also.
still a little quiet, but not
It's not the
terrible.
levels.
We can hear you now.
Would be
I mean,
hysterical.
if you went into your settings and boosted your volume by like 50%, it would probably be good.
I'm preparing for ear rape.
Those are good there.
What, with Rotten's dulcet tone? Nah.
And the funny thing is, I've actually got it lowered. We'll go up to 80. And put
When?
it there.
Oh, we are in Discord, so I can just turn you up myself. Never mind.
Yeah, there's that as well.
There we go.
Oh,
I was gonna say,
Perfect.
Trump could also-
Go up to 130.
Trump could also pull the whole thing of like, well, since the the JFK assassination was supposed to be
Unsealed.
shit. I'm trying to think of the actual word for it.
Declassified.
Declassified, thank you. It's like declassified, and they're still dragging their feet on that. Here's the Epstein Island lists.
Yep.
Let the bloodbath begin.
Because somebody posited the question earlier, like what's next, and it's like, well, he could very well have started this movement of the Great Unfucking, and it might not be this dramatic, topsy-turvy unfucking. It could be just a slow, methodical return to a constitutional republic of the
Hopefully.
people for the people, where you have certain personalities, like look at the most demonized in the media for all the wrong reasons. These people are well noticed, not just in their districts, but nationally and internationally. Your Matt Gaetz, your MTGs, your Lauren Boeberts. Sure, the controversies do help spread the name around, but like the people who are unabashedly, I think Gates said it was like 20 people in Congress right now who are unapologetically America first. I think that movement is bigger and more powerful than the Republicans would have liked to have admitted, and that's why it's slowly taking over the entirety of the party. Sure, it started with Trump, like he lit the match, but the kindling was already there.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, the kindling was already there. I've said since the
Yeah.
beginning of the Trump campaign for the 2016 election. I've said since the beginning, President Trump is a good start, but people need to think about what we do next.
Yeah. I think there are people that are thinking about that, like the serious people, the people who you actually need to be thinking about this, which is good.
Yeah.
I kind of foresaw this back in the Barry Obama days, because I said, what the hell is going on down there? This is kind of getting out of control. Like I could see the ramp up, the acceleration, and I'm like, this is gonna snap back like a fucking rubber band, and it's gonna turn some heads. And then sure enough, Trump was like, "I'm running for president." I'm like, "Oh God, here we go, here we fucking go," because our system is so in Canada is so much harder for someone like that to just come on in. The best we can hope for constantly, unless there's some kind of like major overhaul to electoral reforms up here. It can't happen up here. That can't happen up here. It can't happen in the UK. It really can't. Like as big of a influence Farage became, he could never be top kit.
Yeah. I mean,
He'll never make that.
It's that whole thing of like, for the UK, they basically just had to have the king take over for a bit and been like, no, we're changing the ways because I do have final say. And
Blimey, this is all smattered. Let's fix it.
yeah,
That
that type thing. Otherwise, it's that whole thing of like, you'd have like Trudeau needs to be out of office and all of his cronies and whatnot need to be gone as well. And to quite literally put Canada first, I mean, come on, man. Let's be honest. Canada has been responsible for a lot of things being labeled as a war crime.
Oh hell yeah!
So
Especially
it's
in
like,
World War II.
let's return to form. Because as the old saying goes, it's never a war crime the first time.
The Brits were like, "What the fuck are these crazy beavers doing?" And we were like, "Killing Nazis, bitch! Come on!"
Yep.
If you read some of the stories, you're like, "Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
if-
Who let these people remain a country? They're crazy."
And I wouldn't have it
And
any
then we
other
had
way.
the good PR campaign of, "Yeah, we're just chilled, laid back Canadians, eh? We're your buddies to the north."
It's that, well, like,
We're American.
it's that.
Honestly, rotten. I think that's just sort of that's the duality of our culture is that like it takes a lot to sort of poke the bear, but once the bear gets going, you're either going to get mauled or he's
Well,
going to get shot in the head.
This was like how I had the conversation with my dad when we were discussing some of the things, because like watched quite a bit of the Unsubscribed podcast, and they had the guy who was the author for the book The Terminalist, and apparently when he was thinking about who he would like to actually play like the main character, he had thought of Chris Pratt, and it was a friend that he knew from the Special Forces thing that actually ended up working with Chris Pratt, and then had given Chris Pratt the book, and Chris Pratt was the one who optioned it to play it. But I was thought when going back to the whole thing is that form, a lot of guys in Special Forces don't have the Arnold Schwarzenegger commando look. Some of them do, but a lot of them, especially a guy who's gonna wreck you 6 ways from Sunday and then twice on Sunday as a treat, usually looks like an accountant.
Oh yeah,
And they're
He doesn't
and
have
they're
to-
not the size
and-
of the dog in the fight.
and they're the nicest people you'll ever meet.
Yep.
But it's that
Alright,
it's
so-
also that whole thing that they know they don't have to prove that they're gonna be able to do all that.
Stay sane if you have that capability.
What's the saying? A loud what's it? I think it's a loud dog strong dog doesn't have to bark.
Well,
he
yeah,
has
it's like
nothing to prove.
It's the same as with these alpha guys, Jack Murphy and Andrew Tate and all these assholes. They spend so much time telling you what real men they are that it's obvious that they're not.
Because as soon as you look up their skirt, you're like, dude, that's a vagina.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh boy.
exactly. I mean, look what happened with Jack Murphy with the heels and the heels and
Yeah.
his face in the same photograph.
The him
With,
co- him let his girlfriend or his wife cock him.
Yeah, basically.
And then fuck you, and that's from the heart. And he just broke down.
Yeah. Yeah, Jack Murphy just proved himself to be a complete little bitch.
Oh
Same
yeah.
thing with Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate prances around essentially in his underwear with his brother for some reason. It's like, what the fuck is that shit?
It's just prison life, yo.
Well, if he were doing the whole thing originally of just doing the martial arts aspect of it, because that is something that he did,
Yeah.
part of that would make sense if they're doing that. Then they added a bunch of other shit into it, and it's like, dude, and then you see him walk regularly, and like you're like, you are totally a bottom.
Oh, yeah. I mean, shit. Just look at the way he dresses when he's like properly dressed. And I use the word properly wrong because his jackets are way too small for his build, and he does that so he can emphasize his build. Let's be clear, because he's trying to push a message and an image.
Oh yeah,
He's being a woman who's addicted to being glamorous instead of pretty.
He's peacocking.
Yeah, basically. He's wearing pants that are just a little bit too short and wearing shoes with no socks. Grow the fuck up, you retard.
now like there actually is a valid reason to wear like properly fitting pants that are actually a bit tight. If they're the right ones, they'll actually form with you or
Yeah,
move with you properly, and that is what a lot of special forces do. But it's also because they have a bunch of shit strapped to them as well.
exactly. The only thing he's got strapped to him is when his brother's hanging out the back of him.
Wow.
I know. I'm a poet too.
As I say, as long as you don't insult the fanny pack on that whole thing, because he's not even that cool, and at least the fanny pack's useful. You can carry stuff in it like a gun.
Yes. That's the only legitimate use for a fanny pack. Honestly, is a good way to disguise your weapon.
Or
It-
when you're trying to just be active.
Well, it's for
I
it's
usually had one as a sling when I was doing stuff.
Then it's not if you're not wearing it like a fanny pack, it's not a fanny pack.
Yeah, I guess.
well. I was
You
gonna
were
say,
wearing it like a purse.
Like a purse, yeah.
Uh,
well, it depends. If it was
Oh.
going over his chest, he was wearing it like some weird thing, majig.
Right.
But I say no, they're not just good for that. That's if you're going to carry something bigger and that whole thing, and you still want it concealed, or they're good for, like having a quick little first aid kit.
Yes.
You can do
Well,
that
I
either way.
understand them for legitimate purposes, but if it's to carry your fucking earrings and your perfume and your and all that shit,
No,
you're
my
not a man.
my earrings they're on a napkin chilling because I haven't decided if I'm gonna which ones I want to wear tomorrow.
I live in this headspace where there are certain things that men don't do. Eating quiche, for example. Men
Quiche is-
should never. It's a little better to eat quiche, but when you go somewhere and order it, fuck you, dude.
If quiche is being served, you eat quiche, but you don't order.
Yeah, but
quiche.
you don't order it.
Yeah.
You know, guys who want to pretend to eat healthy by having a salad, fuck off, because you're putting all the fattening stuff right on top of that lettuce.
I
well,
mean,
some
I,
of them
I
are just
porked up a
trying to
little.
tell their wives that they hate healthy.
So it all depends on which dressing you use. And I'm not. I know whenever I eat a salad, I'm not any better because I use ranch. But that's because I just can't deal with the vinegars.
Well, it's not even what kind; it's how much.
Yeah.
Remember, is
exactly.
anyone else old enough to remember when rice cakes became a thing?
Oh god.
I like
Yes.
rice cake. I will
Or
just
at
grab
least
a
in my
rice
era.
cake and eat that stuff, and that has been since I was a kid.
I was so amused when rice cakes became a thing. I think I was the first one who spotted it. But when rice cakes became a thing, everyone's walking around with their fucking rice cakes. And they're trying to lose weight. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to eat rice cakes. Yeah, well, try not smearing all that fucking sugar and shit on it, asshole.
Well, it's not even that. You can still smear that sugar and shit on it if you're still at a calorie deficit.
Yes, but I'm talking like a quarter inch of rice cake and 2 inches of peanut butter.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Well, the peanut,
Yeah.
depending on the peanut butter is usually not near as bad.
True, it
Okay,
is
same.
actually worse today than it was then.
See, and things
But
like
yes.
that, they'd have probably put like peanut butter and chocolate and fucking sprinkles or something.
Yeah, but basically they put all the fattening shit on the rice cake, just thus negating. Oh well,
The point of rice cake.
yeah. Basically, oh look, you consumed 2 fewer calories because you didn't use bread. Fuck off.
I just like how takeout means food, dating, and murder.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
agree with that. I'm happy with that. Here's another thing men shouldn't do: wear
What?
Crocs.
Go fuck yourself.
Okay, fuck your
I-
has a pair of Crocs.
No,
I wear
you,
them
you can
all
wear.
the time
You
because I
can
have
wear.
to wear them indoors because otherwise I'll slip and fall and break my hip or my
No,
neck.
you can wear Crocs in your home, but
Yeah,
you don't
because they're
go in public.
non-slip and kitchen
Yeah.
Crocs are a thing.
Yes,
Well,
and also Crocs are the perfect shoe
But they're
to have indoors, so you
But-
don't track outdoor shit indoors.
yes, but I know what you mean. You don't wear them out in lieu of shoes.
Yeah, the only way the knockoff Crocs that I bought when I was doing the pool thing in Okinawa, because we had to have that for a bit, and I didn't have any other shoes for that. That's just kind of all they had available. Is if I wear them outside, it's to take out my trash, and if it's anywhere else, I'm not getting out of my fucking vehicle because I'm going through the drive-through.
Agreed.
Because I refuse to fucking DoorDash.
But
I
you
refuse to
know,
DoorDash
every
too.
time you go out, there's a chance you got to get out of the car for something. Be prepared. Strap on some shoes with some fucking laces.
Oh, I got some slide-ons as well.
I got to
Tennis
tell you,
shoes.
if I go to a doctor to have my spleen stripped and revarnished, and that fucker comes out and starts talking to me, and he's not wearing shoes with laces, I immediately downgrade my confidence in him. If you can't be
Wow.
bothered to tie your fucking shoes, I don't want you operating on me.
All right. To be fair, Mitch. To be fair,
Actually,
To
I don't
be
have
fair.
laces. I have elastic laces because I fucking hate bending over and kneeling down to tie my shoes.
Then stand in front of a chair and lift a leg.
I do when I put on my shoe and I pull the strap and I tighten it up so it's on my foot. But that also comes from when my feet would swell up, and it was fucking a bitch to deal with.
I had a coworker
I-
who tried running calls in Crocs. Oh, fuck's sake.
So I have a legitimate reason why I don't wear fucking laces.
Okay.
No, but I'll even say this because, like,
doctors not so much, but nurses wear Crocs because of how much time they have to be on their feet. Basically, Crocs have just replaced the
There are other comfortable shoes out there. There are comfortable shoes, strangely enough, that have laces. Get away from me, lady, if you got a needle and you're wearing Crocs. That's all I'm saying.
You know what else is not very manly is being obsessed with fashion.
I agree.
obsessed with what?
What?
I'm not saying I'm
Fashion.
perfect.
Obsessed with fashion.
Fashion. Okay.
I'm not talking
Poking
fashion.
fun at Mitch again. What else is new?
I understood.
No, see,
I-
look, I got to defend now. Damn it.
Okay, I can understand some fashion. I cannot understand high fashion.
I
Haute
can't.
couture.
Because, like, I still haven't done it, but one of these days I want to get an actual good fitted suit.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it is a unique phenomenon because it's just such a wonderful piece of it's not a piece of clothing, but an ensemble is a nice, well fitted suit, and every man should have at least one, and it feels good to throw it on, and you feel good, and it's just good all around. I love
I'll
it.
tell you something else. You go out in the world wearing a suit, no one's going to ask you to do any dirty work.
I like doing dirty work though. But that's the other thing too. Like I like my jean t-shirt and a dress shirt over top kind of day-to-day wear. But if I had the money, that's all I would wear is tailored suits. The only problem is tailored suits cost a lot of fucking money.
Oh, yeah.
You can buy
Yeah.
off the rack. That's not gonna. It's gonna be expensive. It's not gonna be tailored suit expensive. Tailored suits is, you need congressman money for that.
Yep.
Take out a second home
Let's
mortgage.
defund Congress. There goes the debt.
No kidding.
And we can all afford tailored suits. Sweet.
Now, if I were concerned with fashion, there, Dr. Functional, I would have
Hmm.
gone on about guys who wear Crocs that are color coordinated or worse, camouflage.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I knew exactly what you meant.
Hey, don't forget you can also get your croc nuts.
Oh, for
But,
Christ's sake.
What?
but
Have you seen-
Like how they have the
actually
truck
do
nuts for
have-
trucks, they have croc nuts.
They have cowboy boot versions now too that I've seen. I'm like, oh,
Okay, I haven't seen any of that.
This is why humanity was a mistake.
That's like
Well,
if I'm
Because you take something that has an actual function to it and you make it into an item of everyday wear, and it's kind of like it's just stupid. It's not fit for purpose.
it's
Wait a minute,
emblematic of
hold
the
on, hold on,
feminization
hold
of the
on.
male species.
Hold on, hold
Oh
on,
yeah,
hold
yeah.
on. Travis Gardner. I had a coworker who tried running calls. And
yeah, we read that earlier.
Oh, fuck! I have to deal with you, motherfuckers. I fuck. I don't know why I was even talking.
It's because the way Mitch said it, I think it was Mitch. that
It was.
said
I did.
it sounded like Mitch was telling a story. He didn't
Oh.
realize he was reading what,
Yeah, it probably did.
what Travis said.
What about guys, single guys who drive minivan?
Oh, Lord,
I
you're
don't
doing
really
this
care.
George Carlin bit.
No, I'm not. It's just something I've observed. There's something I don't trust about a single guy who owns a minivan.
I mean,
Maybe he
it has to go with it. It has to go with a couple ways. Now, if they bought it because the minivan was cheap, and basically it's just their daily driver, I don't care.
Okay, I can accept that.
Or
Maybe.
if they're a gearhead and they bought it because they wanted to make a minivan that's a sleeper because they like to see what they can do with a wrench and an engine.
I can see that.
I can see that. Anything else, unless it's like I said, like a work van, there's not really a reason for it.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well bite the bullet and just go buy a Volvo because it's safe.
No, because the reason that single guys have fans is because there's more room.
Because what now?
There's more room in the back,
There's more room in
and the
back.
minivans are cheaper
Right,
than
but
the
if a
old
man
cargo
is
vans.
buying a vehicle for carrying capacity, he shouldn't be buying a minivan. You should either buy a truck or a full-size van.
Reason for the back seat.
You
Say again?
you should
He's
have a
trying to
backpack.
use it to get lucky so he can bang in his vehicle.
That's not what minivans are for.
That's when you
Well,
can't
it could be, just not the
better.
consensual kind.
That's
Oh,
like,
Lord.
that's like
Or
going
something.
to a bar, a smooth jazz bar, mind you, wearing a shirt and tie and Bermuda shorts with dress shoes and long black socks. It just doesn't fucking work. It's not going to get you laid.
Look, he's just trying to appeal to all the single mamas out there.
Mm.
That's the other reason. It's like taking your nieces and nephews out places because you know all of
You can
the
do that in
girls
a full-size
like
van.
it.
Problem is because full-size vans are originally cargo vehicles, they are super fucking expensive.
True.
And women have
And that could
bigger-
all, and guess what? You know where that all comes back to? The fucking government putting a goddamn tariff on goddamn cargo vehicles, 25% during the fucking Cold War. LBJ, you can go fuck yourself, you piece of shit. I know you're dead and I don't care.
And while we're at it, let me just add this to the whole minivan.
Ryan, tell me how you
thing.
really feel.
Hey, because of that, I can't own a Toyota Hilux. And the only time they were ever imported by Toyota for 2 years is when they called it the Toyota.
I'm just going to say this. When it comes to the minivan thing, if only there were some sort of a sport utility vehicle that men could purchase. But
Like a Jeep.
They cost more money,
Mhm.
Mitch.
Mitch, what was that? Remember
hold on,
in
what? Well, go ahead, Tier. I'm sorry.
remember in
Excuse me, this is my microphone.
fucking Captain Marvel, the old '70s show, that truck they had, the
Oh, the Ranchero, I think it was. The Ford Ranchero.
I think it was the Ford Rancher.
Yeah, Ford made the
It-
Ranchero, Chevy made the El Camino.
Yeah.
that hybrid monstrosity.
Yes.
Subaru had the Brat that when they then started importing it, they actually put plastic seats in the back because then it wasn't considered a cargo vehicle. That's why so many all the van shit it's like for cargo vans is so fucking ridiculous because they have to put shit in that whole thing. Hell, it's the reason why trucks went to having more than 4 or 2 doors and two in the bench seats.
You want to say
Yep.
hello?
So it was this hybrid monstrosity. It was that I think would be perfect for a guy nowadays. Oh, and I've
No.
seen
I
the
hate those things.
Cybertruck in real life. I've seen them on the streets of Baltimore.
Oh, it's one of the biggest offenders, I think.
Yes, it is. It is an abomination unto God.
Now,
Every time I see one, I want to check and see if there's a glitch in the matrix because that shit looks low res as fuck.
there is a downside
Dude,
to
it-
the SUV.
It just looks like a fucking like PS1 graphics of a fucking Pontiac Aztec.
Oh God.
It looks
thing
Are
is
you
it,
trying to
hideous.
be famous? Did you hear her?
it looks like a glitch in reality, and it fucking frightens me.
Stop it.
What?
My kitten, she's
Ah.
rubbing up
Oh.
against the microphone and meowing at you.
No, we're
I-
that's
I
not
couldn't hear it at all.
coming through.
I thought she telling me if I try to be famous. I don't want to be famous. Fuck that shit. That requires.
I knew he
work.
was.
I'm
I knew he
fucking
wasn't
lazy.
talking not to us, and I was like, it's either a cat or a dog. I'm guessing. I just don't know which.
And the one that killed me when I was back in the old days when I was wrenching on cars.
Mhm.
It was in a suburban area, and people would have their fucking, like their Ford Expedition with 4-wheel drive, and these were driven by the housewives that never did anything but drive their kids 3 blocks to school. It's like, why do you have what are you buying this for? Get a station.
Who are you buying
wagon.
this for?
Get a station wagon, you clone.
Oh, I mean, if I were
You
going to do
know-
a business tour, it's like
I would actually rather have the SUV because. Never mind.
I was gonna say, if I were gonna do like a business tour, we're gonna have to go out to places. The minivan wouldn't be a bad idea, like Travis was saying, because it's not gonna be near as bad on the highway if you have to do the highway stuff, and it's still gonna hold all your tools.
Right, but that's for business use.
Yeah.
It's a different set of circumstances. I'm talking if you're a guy and you think a minivan is cool, that's no, stop that right now. However, there is there is another exception, and that is when
Oh, it's the kitty.
yes, I see the cat.
Hold on, I want to see the key.
The other exception is when if you buy a minivan and you make it and you do a fandom thing to it. If you're using it for what words am I looking?
I don't know.
Where the hell did Discord go? That's weird. Okay.
Mitch just glitched.
Yeah. If you buy a minivan and you want shuttlecraft from Star Trek and drive it around like that, I almost understand that. But I still think it's a little swishy.
Like the only other one for a thing for that, in my opinion, if you're gonna buy a van, is if you're gonna make the van from the A-Team, or you're gonna try to make the Mystery Machine.
Yes.
Like if you're doing something like that, it's like I can kind of more understand.
Yeah, that's
But in all reality,
that's the kind of stuff you can put in a car show.
but it's like in all reality, like it's still that whole thing. I've never met anyone who's thought a minivan was cool because like pretty much you're doing that because like I said, it's a daily driver type thing. That or you got a lot of druggy friends and you just want to bake a fucking car.
Yeah. Just go to the water park and get high.
Mm-hmm.
Never even go into the water park. Just go in the parking lot and get high. Because you're a bunch of
I used
weirdos.
to do that all the time at Canada's Wonderland. Sit there on the hood of the car and like watch people on the roller coasters.
Oh, Travis posted a picture of him and his van in Discord.
Him and his what?
Him and his van.
Oh, man.
Ah,
See, there you go. It's a work van.
Hmm.
That's perfectly legit.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
Although,
Hey Travis, who's that asshole in front of that van?
now, if you have a fine sense of irony, you can respect a minivan that's got a mural painted on the side.
Yeah.
No, it had to be a mural of something cool. Like if it's a
Well,
scene
yeah,
from
it's
like
got to be
a
that Viking
Conan
shit.
and shit.
Yeah, some Viking woman or an Aztec scene.
Fucking unicorn shooting lasers out its ass.
Yeah, it's got to be straight up some 70s bullshit mural on the side of a minivan. That would be fucking hilarious.
Oh, absolutely.
That or there's always
That would be awesome.
there's always the classic, Van Gogh Starry Night.
Yeah,
Yes.
Oh my god, that would be my car.
Because then you could always have it when someone goes by, be like, "Hey man, check out that Van Gogh." They're like, "What?"
look at
If
that.
Put
anyone-
them on test.
Okay. Rotten, you destroyed my van.
Now,
There you go.
now you take that
But-
same minivan and put flames on it. Yeah, it's cute, but it's a little obvious. It's like putting a racing stripe on it.
It's a vehicle
No,
of
I
war.
want my I now want my van my Van Gogh van. I want my Starry Night van.
There are just rules to being a man, and I rail against the continued feminization of the male species because
Agreed.
men should not be women.
Well, that's why, like, the biggest
will-
thing I always bring up, and I actually say this for both men and women, because it's that whole thing of, like, being an adult and a proper contributing person to society. All your bills should be paid first. Doesn't mean
Yes.
you can't do fun things. As long as those are paid first, so all, whether it be rent, mortgage, but your, insurance,
Groceries.
car payment, fucking groceries are on top of that as well. Then once that's all done, yes, you can still go out and do things.
Yeah, even if it's just renting a movie.
I live by one of the greatest things I ever took from my ex-girlfriend was she would pay a bill. She would take the physical bill, write down the date and the time she paid, the amount she paid on it, and she would put it away. So at the end of the year, when she does like the budgeting and shit, she can see how she does it. So now I do the exact same thing. Every time I pay my bills, I pay it on the first. My mortgage and my light bill are always on the first, and then between the 7th and the 9th, the 7th and the 11th, because my water bill doesn't always come in on time, but it comes in between those dates. I will pay my water bill, my phone bill, my internet, and my like any little incidental bills that I should happen to get.
Yeah.
I write all that shit down, the amount I paid, and the confirmation number. That shit has saved me 3 times already. Oh, you didn't pay this bill? Yeah, the fuck I did. No, you don't. Confirmation number. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Oh, it must be something wrong in our system. Yeah, y'all fix that.
Oh, that's like because of my because the only one I have to pay for utilities is my electric, because everything else, because I pay my internet when I pay my rent, and everything else, the gas and water are all in that. Because we've actually got a water broiler for apparently each unit, so like I get hot water super fucking fast.
Sweet.
Now, one of the
But
tricks I've used.
I'll say
go on.
like when I tried to do it to where I could do the auto payment or pay out of my credit card, but my checking account, and it didn't want to let it go through. And I'm not paying a fucking service fee just to use my damn debit card or credit card.
Right.
So I looked up where the hell the damn place was like, oh, this is on my way to work. Guess what I'm doing before work every month? I'm going and paying the bill in fucking person in cash.
Yep.
Now, one of the tricks I'd like to employ is, and you do it for every bill if you can, but it's especially useful for the major bills like a mortgage, a car payment, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
Round up. I once had a car payment for what was it, $187 a month,
Oh yeah.
and I just kept paying it $200.
Oh yeah. Well, here's the thing: if you're gonna do something like that, if you can afford this, it is something you should do because every time you're paying, it's like if you want to lower the amount of principal you have for the debt, you actually want your biggest payment to be at the beginning of the year, especially for a mortgage. You will actually pay off your mortgage faster by giving an exponentially bigger payment at the January than you will trying to pay a larger payment throughout all of the years. You'll still pay it or throughout the entirety of the year. You'll still pay it off faster, but you'll pay it off exponentially faster because you still have that debt that it gets incurred for the interest upon what's paid. And if you bring that down faster, you'll pay less debt.
Honestly, one of the fun parts about it is when you round up, even if you just round up to the nearest dollar, if you can afford to do so, just round up to the nearest dollar.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, it won't work for groceries, but like for utilities and
Yeah.
car, house payment, that kind of stuff.
Mm.
When you get those people into a deficit where they owe you, you have a buffer. And those buffers can come in handy over time.
Oh yeah, that's the nice thing for my electric payment because I can go in there and I can round up to the next dollar or whatnot upward. So that way I don't even have to I'll just get bills instead of bills and change.
Right. Well, there's that too. Who wants to walk around with a bunch of change clanging in their pocket? Drives me crazy.
Look, I keep a little bit of change typically in my backpack that I have for work and a little bit in my car since I went to Aldi today and they got that fucking coin thing to use with a quarter to use the grocery carts.
I hate that shit.
I actually don't because it forces people to fucking put them back.
Yeah, you want that quarter, I guess.
And I did it today and I've seen it countless times as well to where someone will be going to put theirs away and someone else is walking up, they'll grab the cart and hand that person a quarter.
There you go.
And it's funny because that store was actually that store, which is actually two different brands, and the whole thing was started in Germany after World War II.
Aldi?
Yep.
Yep.
And what's really funny is their technically like brother company is called Trader Joe in the US. It would still be Aldi in Germany because
Aldi on the East Coast.
well it's
And now it's Aldi here in California.
yeah, there's also the Trader Joe's because what happened was because it was two brothers that started it is that one wanted to sell cigarettes and the other didn't. So they separated
Bad.
and that whole thing. So basically there's an Aldi that sold cigarettes and an Aldi that didn't. But when they came over to the United States, you can't have two companies that have the same logo.
Right.
And that whole thing. So one of them became, I want to say the one that sells cigarettes became Trader Joe's.
I was going to say, because we have both Aldi and Trader Joe's.
But yes, Trader Joe's is technically owned by Aldi.
Trader Joe's is expensive.
I'd imagine so.
It shouldn't be.
Aldi's actually pretty cheap.
Yeah, because that's what it was supposed to be. That's why if you go to Aldi, you'll see that a lot of stuff in there, especially boxes, have several barcodes. It's so when they actually have the person who's, if they have the cashier doing that, they don't have to find the barcode. And they actually pay their employees pretty well. Don't care if the cashier sits down because their job isn't to fucking try to get you to, get a rewards thing, maybe donate so the company can get paid back because they've already donated that money to whatever cause. Their job is to get you, fucking get your grocery scan, get your money, and get on to the next fucking person. Because god damn it, we got shit to do. That's why all these stores
That's
are all. That's why all these stores are all so small and don't have a lot of choice, because there is a whole psychology of shit that goes into that as well.
That is one of the reasons why I hated going to certain places. You want our new rewards package plan and with this and shit? Like, no, I just want my shit. I want to go home.
I
Yeah,
wanna
like-
buy my groceries.
You sure you don't want this new XYZ and R2T? No, I want
Well,
my shit. I
that's
just
the
want to
reason
fucking
why they
go
had
home.
the stuff that they have, the impulse buys and the cashiers things. But it's also the reason why they give you, 6 different Captain Crunches to choose from, because you're going to stop and you're going to think. Hell, that's like the whole thing that's done at like Costco, to where the way they psychological warfare to get you to spend more money is to trick you into thinking you saved money, even though
Yeah.
everything they do is at cost, because they don't care about that. It's they make all their money through the membership. But notice how they put those really high dollar fancy electronics right up front. You're like, a TV for $6,000. Oh, I'm not falling for that trap. I saved $6,000. I can splurge on these cookies.
Yeah.
Oh man,
God, dude, like,
I hate that
Fat
trap.
Electrician's Fat Files and that whole thing, because of like Fat Electrician, his Fat Files, and then watching all the shit from like the Unsubscribed podcast as well. I am learning an exponential ton of shit that I never learned in school.
Shit. Eggs are usually a loss leader. That's why eggs are cheap. And when eggs and milk are overpriced, they're a problem.
Why
Well,
do you think basic economics is not taught in schools? Or even basic budgeting?
it used to be. I learned to balance a checkbook in school.
I know it used to be.
Yeah.
But
I've
those-
never learned to balance
You know,
checkbook
it's
in
just
school.
like how the civics curriculum has been replaced by social studies.
I had in my senior year there was a semester split. First semester you took one semester you took government, the second semester you took economics.
Took what?
Economics.
Two things that should never mix, obviously. Or maybe they should mix.
Well, this is why.
No, why don't you stay the fuck out of the other?
Well, this is why for some people, whenever I hear them, especially when they're teachers, bitch about shit they didn't learn in school that they should have been taught in school, it's like, okay, so are you fighting to have this thing taught in school, or are you just trying to be gay?
Exactly.
Well, look, nowadays teachers are trying to find their new dates,
Yeah.
They're looking at the student body like, yeah, I'd fuck her.
Pretty much. Now,
'Cause,
mind
like-
you, my position has always been that to save this, I say always, for the last 10 years, because it is a process. But my position is we're not going to save this country overnight. We're not going to save it with one election.
Oh no,
No,
no, no,
What we
no,
have
no,
to
no,
do
no.
is get Americans back on the school boards.
Mm-hmm.
And from there get into municipal and county positions as well.
Well, also like when it comes to the kids, also like spend time with your kids and teach them things as well.
Yep.
The one good thing about the lockdowns, honestly, was it forced parents to pay attention to what their kids
Mhm.
learn.
Yeah, but we're already
yes.
starting to see them go away from that.
Yeah,
We are because it's water following the path of least resistance.
Well, it's not just that. It's also because why should I? It's like I can't really worry about what's happening with my kid in school unless it's something major, because I have to fucking work harder to just afford basic things.
Right.
But like,
The manipulation of the economy in this way is very much a distraction.
I think everyone should learn to cook, and I know it's like it was typically used in women. It's like, well, you should learn to cook for your husband, and some men may tell men you should learn to cook for your wife. No, motherfucker, you might be
you
single
learn
and
to
need
cook
to
for yourself.
and
You should
need to
learn
cook for yourself.
you.
Yeah, honestly, learn to cook for yourself, and cooking for someone else is included.
Yeah. But you don't have to learn everything. You can still get most of the stuff where you don't have to do as much work. Like, you don't have to be as gung-ho about it as like Sanguine is.
Yeah, I mean, look,
I rarely cook like that.
one of the systems I recommend for homeschoolers, I say this as someone who doesn't raise kids, is one of the best things you can do is to include your kid in the daily mundane tasks and use those tasks as the springboard into learning things like math.
Yeah.
You know, okay, we're going to cook macaroni and cheese for lunch. How many cups of water do we need? How do we measure out those cups? You know, start teaching the kids that stuff, and they'll start to understand where math becomes. They'll
Important.
understand for practical reasons why math is important.
Yes,
More
Because a lot of it
important.
now is just like, you got to learn this. Why? Because you got to learn this.
because you have to.
It's more important to teach food safety and food handling and hygiene, that kind of stuff, as opposed to actual cooking.
Oh, I agree.
Because even at the basic level, meat, fire, salt, you know.
Yeah.
And if the individual is that concerned with making it taste better, then you already gave them the basic knowledge. Then they can go and learn more or whatever.
Yeah.
And have more electives. But at the base level, everybody, because far too many people will like handle raw meat and then cross-contaminate things.
Yep.
And it might not make them outwardly sick, but over a long enough period of time, it does affect your internal bacteria and your digestive tract and blah 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 blah.
Yep.
Blah. So just that small thing of ensuring that people have that proper food hygiene.
Ensuring that food's been cooked to the proper temperature,
Yes.
especially
Yeah.
for things like poultry and ground meat.
Yeah.
When I'm doing stuff with meats and poultry, I actually have next to me in a bucket, mind you, not like a full-size bucket. It's smaller than a regular bucket, but it's a bucket of water with Dawn dish soap and some bleach in it. And I basically clean and wipe as I go. I'll hack up the chicken on the cutting board, then immediately pull my rag out of the bucket and wipe down the cutting board.
Yeah.
And I mean that's all part of
That, I mean, it's basic.
well
it's
the
basic
cooking
practice.
temperatures thing is all like I said, it's all encompassed in food hygiene and safety.
Yeah.
Because do you need to teach that individual how to make the perfect hamburger or pot roast or whatever? No, because if they want to eat that well, then they can. There's so many resources to just learn how to do that.
Yeah, they
But
can take
you-
the
Well, yeah.
extension course.
Go ahead.
the safety aspect of it, or else going forward is pointless because you're even though you're following a recipe and learning how to cook things, like you're still doing it dirty. Hello.
Well, yeah. Plus, you can't. You can do beef in a rare, medium,
Well, you-
etc. But you can't do that with chicken, and you can't do that.
no,
with
you
fish.
can't. Well, you also don't want to do that with ground beef.
Right.
Any kind of ground meat.
Yeah, that's why I said
There
ground
is-
meat. But you
I thought you
teaching,
said beef, sorry.
yeah. Well, it that's why I said ground, and that whole thing. I get probably should have put the right emphasis on the proper
I just
syllables.
misheard you. You're
Ah,
good.
I probably
But it's
slur
because
shit
of
as well.
the amount of extra surface contact with the air.
Yeah,
So many more nooks and crannies and holes and whatever.
To
for
cradle
Yeah.
bacteria to
mhm.
immediately start a colony. That's why when you get it, you either have to use it right away or freeze it right away.
Mhm.
See, that same principle is why I hate textured appliances.
Hmm.
If I see a refrigerator with a textured surface, I want to throw the fucker out.
Just
can't
makes
keep-
it harder to clean.
Well, yeah, you can't keep it clean. Not with well, especially in a restaurant setting where there's all kinds of regular use.
Oh yeah.
There's no keeping it clean.
Oh yeah. I mean, the amount of particulates you inhale as a chef, it's
Yeah.
trust me, I know. Like after getting home and relaxing and then coughing up big wads of grease
Honestly-
and bacon and beef and potato and
I'm convinced that I've done more harm to my lungs not from smoking, but from working around all the chemicals used in auto repair.
oh for sure.
and all the hot oil that gets into the air, and the hot cooking oil that gets in the air when you work in a restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, they have their cute exhaust fans, but that shit ain't perfect. And plus, we've got morons in the restaurant business who like to leave a deep fryer on overnight.
Dawson, fuck.
Exactly.
God, no, I was
ever
like,
walk into a restaurant that with a deep fryer that's been on overnight with no exhaust fan running?
no,
Holy shit!
probably smells
Yeah.
terrible.
It smells terrible. It's smoky. You cannot breathe in there. It will. I mean, but you have to
surprised the
go
place
in.
Didn't burn down.
Yeah, I was say all I could think of is the second freaking Clerks movie, you know, where Randall
Yeah.
shows up and he's just like, "You think it was terrorists?" Gives him
Yeah.
that to the head. I left the
The
coffee
coffee
maker
pot.
on again, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you have to go in. You have to turn on the exhaust fan to brace the doors open to clear that out. And it even with that exhaust fan running, that big ass exhaust fan, it takes a long goddamn time
Oh yeah.
before you can get in there and breathe. I'm talking hour and a half. And shit, you got to open up the bathroom doors so they can breathe as well, or at least turn on the exhaust fan.
Yeah.
And
But no, I was gonna say it's like going through teaching kids the importance of like why you need to cook specific things to certain temperatures. Why in that reasoning you don't actually need to wash your chicken with fucking dish soap.
Please do not wash your chicken with dish soap.
And then you wonder why
Ooh.
you know, like white person's unseasoned chicken it's like that doesn't taste as good when it's not always the primary thing and you're over seasoning your chicken because you never will get all the soap off of it.
right. And well, that's the difference between washing the chicken and cleaning the chicken.
Yes.
But you know,
But-
clean.
But then on like the opposite side of that, showing how to like, oh, I don't know, use a set of fucking jumper cables properly. Change to your
Yeah.
spare tire. Why you're not supposed to stay on your spare tire for 3,000 miles.
Yeah.
You know, since it's
Wow.
only rated for 50 miles.
Honestly, yeah, we need our schools and parents too. Honestly, we can't again. If expecting the schools to do this is sort of a fool's errand, and it goes against what I was saying earlier about
Yeah.
trusting government, because the schools clearly don't want to teach this stuff, so parents have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's why, like I
And-
said, it always bugs me every time I see people who are in teaching positions like, why didn't I learn this in school? Well, why aren't you opting to teach it or have it be taught?
Right. And again, that's all part of teaching to oh god, was teaching to test?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
shit.
why most schools hate fucking school choice.
Right.
Hell, it's the same reason why if they don't offer depending on the laws in that whole thing, I want to say that's a federal thing though. Like if they don't offer specific sports, they try not to let students know about it because or it's like, and even parents know about it and to hinder them from wanting to go into that because like if where I went to school, if I'd have asked my dad when I was younger, you know, to like get into wrestling, I'd have had to go to a different school for a wrestling team.
Right.
But my school would have had to pay for that because they don't offer it.
We need a different system in place for that stuff, for the sports programs and whatnot, because what we have now is not going to work. Especially if we start switching to like, I think neighborhoods should do a homeschool co-op kind of thing, honestly. And you know, that's not to say.
Homeschoolers
Well,
do that.
The other big thing I think they need to get away from is having to have the teaching certifications. Like
Right.
getting an education in teaching because it really hasn't shown that
Well,
that it's been
we've seen
working.
no value in it. After those programs were implemented, people have gotten dumber.
Yeah.
Especially the teachers.
I mean, we know why. It's because the government wants you just smart enough to be able to work, but dumb enough to believe what they'll say.
Right. And again, you know, that's why it's so important to to do the daily life things. And when your kids are young enough, they're, when they're like 3, 4, 5, 6, when they're at that certain age where their minds are really they want to be involved.
Mm-hmm.
They want to do what you're doing. In fact, I used a trick on my niece when I used to watch her constantly. Like I said, I didn't raise any kids of my own, but I've watched a few.
You've
here and there.
helped a little bit.
Yeah. So when my niece was little, she's like 3 or 4, I got her to eat broccoli. And it was quite simply because every time I would make her lunch, she'd get involved, and I'd make a little broccoli off on the side for me to add to it because I like broccoli.
Oh yeah, done right.
And
Broccoli's
all
great.
I-
And she
all-
saw you eating it.
Well, no, not even just that. It just a tiny little touch. All I would do is I would have it off to the side, and I'd be working on that too, and I'd look at her and go, "Got to have my broccoli," and that put it in her head. She wanted to know what the big deal with broccoli was, so when I made her macaroni and cheese, I would put broccoli in it for her, and she grew to love broccoli.
And that's also a perfect time as well to like plausibly have them learn a second language or predominantly learn an instrument,
Yes,
because those will actually, it's been
any kind of artistic endeavor.
well, no, like it's
Yeah.
been shown from studies that like kids who start learning an instrument when they're younger and stick with it do exponentially better in school and learn better.
Yes,
But it's that whole thing of like having the other languages, it's potentially the instruments or things like that, the neuroplasticities and whatnot that they do is exponentially better.
yes, it makes them more well-rounded as people. I mean, I'm not an expert in any field really. Well, maybe some, but that depends on your definition of expert, I suppose. But anyhow, I know enough where I could work at a
Get by.
bar. I could work at a bar and ask the right questions of customers who are into almost anything. I know enough about football to ask the right questions or to even make the right references. Hey, remember Refrigerator Perry? What? Who's that? Oh, man, he was a guy with the Chicago Bears years ago.
Yeah.
And
Like,
huge
I
guy
don't
and
know.
cheerful big motherfucker. Just fucking, rah,
Hey,
That's
you
one of those.
remember
I
the
don't know anything about football, but I do remember Refrigerator Perry and Dan Fouts.
Yeah, Mean Joe Green. I know to ask the
Oh,
right
yeah.
questions.
Joe
So,
Green.
and why that's important is because if you can establish a rapport with your customers, it helps to get them to come back more and more.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a theater arts kid, or at least I wasn't then. I think I am more now than I was then, because I do more writing and creative stuff now. But I had a customer when I was tending bar at one restaurant who was a theater arts guy at the local college and at the local community center. Started talking to him. This dude started coming back because I asked the right questions. I'm like, hey, what was that
because he
play
liked
with the...
talking to you.
Well, yeah, because I showed an interest, and and this works with anyone, show an interest and let them show off their expertise.
Yep.
Yep.
And I'm like, hey, what was that play where that Steve Martin wrote about Picasso and Einstein meeting up in the bar? I knew enough that there was that play. I know enough to talk about Waiting for Godot.
Well, and some of those as well, you could even say it's like ask them what their favorite play is. Why, is there any history behind it? Why is it your favorite play? And you let them go into that as well.
Yeah, and it just depends on what they're into and how you can drag it out of them and start asking questions. And I tell you what, that's one of the great ways to get people to frequent your business because, well, for one thing, sometimes you want to go where everyone knows your name. That's the obvious.
Mm-hmm.
But where they know you and they can talk to you and you can...
Shit. Honestly, I got that same
the
thing.
shit without pressure.
All right. I got one for you guys. I go for a walk on my days off, Thursdays and Fridays.
Mhm.
I go to the same place and get the exact same order. I've gotten that exact same order so much. They walk up to me by name and go, "Here you go." It is literally they know who I am, and I love going there.
I
Get
like
the
that they
exact
walk
same
up to
thing.
you by name.
No, like I can
They
call my order in, or text my order in, and it's waiting for me. And if I don't text it in, the moment they see me, they instantly know what I'm getting.
Yep.
Oh, that's Justin. He's getting an order of French fries. He's gonna be on his way. Go right here. He doesn't like them in a bag, and here, just walk him over to him. They told new people that, like, here, just walk him over to him. You don't want him in a bag? No. He likes them hot, and he doesn't want them in a bag.
There you go.
Like, and you're right, Mitch. Like, it does,
Yeah, and
make
it's
me wanna
such a
come
small
there
thing,
more.
isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a stupid, tiny thing. It's almost inconsequential, but any employer that doesn't recognize that in their public-facing employees is an idiot. Like a one restaurant I worked at, I would I'm sure I've told you guys this one. I would create new things, new dishes. I
Mhm.
created a new chili. I created a new pizza. I created a new sandwich kind of thing. And when I would create these things, there were certain customers that I would include in the process. There was a guy, Dan. Dan was one of the I did this with good customers, mind you. Not just they couldn't just be regular, they had to be good customers.
Okay.
These are customers that never complain. Okay.
Yeah, customers that aren't assholes.
They were customers
Right.
that would
Good.
offer constructive criticism.
Yes. So when Dan would come in, unfortunately, Dan was a really nice guy. His wife looked like 50 years older than him, and she constantly, people are constantly, "Oh, is this your mom?" And, oh my
Oof.
God, I felt sorry for both of them. And thankfully, I never did that. But Dan would come in, and I'd be like, "Hey, Dan, I got something new. You want to try it out?" And he'd be like, "Yeah," because I'd include him all the time.
And he'd give you like, I love this. Like, yeah, I like this. Oh no, I don't like this. No.
This would be
Yeah,
better
exactly.
if you added
Or-
X, Y, or Z into it.
And and I made it clear I wasn't giving him like a big meal. Like, hey, want to sample this? He's like, yeah. And I'd give him a sample of something. And I don't know exactly how this applies to like certain other businesses, but in a restaurant kind of business, if you can include your customers in that way, do it, but only do it to the good ones.
Yeah.
Because
That would incentivize
honestly,
them to be good.
I don't like bad customers. I don't like business owners who cater to bad customers. I want all the good customers in our business, and I want all the bad customers at the other businesses. Because that keeps our business a very positive environment for everybody.
That's why sometimes the fun thing to do occasionally when you're at like a sit down restaurant like that, if they've got a really good employee, is ask to speak to the manager and then basically give that whole thing of like how they were such an awesome employee.
Yes.
Because
I'm the type of guy to say please and thank you. You
Yep.
do something I like, thank you. Goes a long way. Like, a lot of jobs are fucking thankless.
Yeah, most of them are.
God damn it! Every time I hear that, for some odd reason, I get Repo the Genetic Opera's thankless job stuck in my head.
I'm the type, like, I get off the bus. Thank you for driving. You be safe out here. Just
Well, I
small
won't
things.
even go that far. I'll just like, hey, thanks.
No, I live in a city that's shitty, and like 2 bus drivers got robbed once. Like, be safe out here.
Oh, okay.
Like, you do the same. I'm going in the house. I'll be in there shortly.
But it's true, man. It's a thankless job. You have to touch all these products that people have handled and let their kids drool on,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to pretend to. I've never understood pretending to be happy about being stuck in a piece of shit job like that. They want you to present this happy. No, bullshit. That just
I-
that makes you a liar.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not saying you got to be a dick, but let's put a moratorium on the false cheer. All you have to be is pleasant. You don't have to be, you don't got to offer to suck a dick just because they're buying some Cheerios.
Yeah.
With that attitude.
You're preaching to the choir, Mitch. I was a cashier and garden sales associate at Walmart
Ugh.
for over 2 years.
And my heart goes out to you.
Indeed.
I had my customers that were awesome, and I loved them. And I had my Walmart radio that I would sing to every day. So I had customers that would come in specifically to go through the garden center to check out with me because I was out there singing, rocking out to Walmart radio.
Mm.
See, that it's different if it's sincere and it's something that's genuinely happening. I'm fine with it, but when it's false sincerity, I don't want it. I don't
And
want to be
that's
served by someone who's a
exactly how
phony.
they were.
Yeah, he's basically pulling the whole thing of like Office Space.
Yeah, I'm just not going to go anymore.
But you see, you have three.
Yeah.
It's like you have so much less flair than Bill over there does. Does somebody
Right.
have a case of the Mondays?
Is this enough flair for you?
The flare thing really pissed me off. I don't know why. I've never been in that situation, but I could relate somehow, and it just infuriated me.
That's the whole thing. It's like that's why it's like I'll never go to that one fucking restaurant to where the whole gimmick is they're an asshole to you.
It's
Yeah.
called Krabby Dicks, and I loved it.
I just have no desire
Well,
to go
here
for
it's
that.
called Dick's Last Resort.
Nah, it was for in Maryland because our big shtick, or Baltimore, our big shtick is crabs.
Mm.
It was called Krabby Dicks, and a friend of mine's worked there, and so we go there and we fuck with him. So I
Hey,
love it.
Rotten, were you saying you'd never go to that place?
Yeah, it's just not my thing. It's like I'm not expecting him to be super nice to me. I'm just expecting the cordial of we're not gonna try to cuss each other out.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna
I
have
mean,
that
but-
whole thing. We're adults in public, so we know how to play the game, and it's called being polite.
Yeah, but it's a themed restaurant. Like
Again, I understand what it is, Tier. I'm not going there for that experience because I don't feel like going to that. Like if I want someone to yell at me because the food's fucked up or like what I make or what's being made or something, I'll make my own food because I'm going to talk to myself anyways.
Well, yeah, Tier. Basically, what he's saying is he doesn't want to Brie Larson TED Talk,
Ha!
and that's fine. Krabby Dicks is not for everyone. Personally, I would intentionally go there as a customer with an ugly shirt, and just let the shit fly because that would be fun for me. Or I would love to work there and be like, "What can I get you in your shirt today?"
Oh, can you turn down
Yeah,
your shirt?
it's that
blinding
it's
me.
that whole
Yeah.
thing. It's like I don't have a problem with them existing. I'm just not going to partake of it.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
You know,
perfectly fine.
following that whole thing of voting with your dollar. Didn't say anyone else couldn't go there. I was like,
You're not gonna take them away.
the only time I actively was telling people not to go to a specific place, was when I was still stationed in Clovis, or at Canton Air Force Base in Clovis, New Mexico, and I think it was someone's spouse had opened like a yogurt shop or a smoothie shop or whatnot, and it just wasn't my thing, but all my friends wanted to get it that I was there with, and for some odd reason, it was like the manager or whatnot. She just got fucking insistent in trying to bug me into buying something. It's like, look, I'm here with them because I fucking drove. They're buying something. Leave me alone.
Right.
And then tried that
Maybe
whole
not
thing of
bugging.
just like, well, how do you know you don't like it if you haven't tried it? And I'm like,
Oh, fuck off.
you can fuck right off. And I ended up just walking outside and going and smoking a cigarette. And I was just like, by the way, I will never come back here, and I will actively tell my friends to never come here.
Exactly. I hate that thing.
Like-
How do you know you don't like it?
I wasn't going to be a customer regardless because what they were selling wasn't for me, but I would most
Right.
likely recommend them. And I was like, when the first one was like, oh, okay, you know, if you change your mind, let us know. 100% fine with that. But if you start fucking badgering me, no.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
I
that
fucking hate
and that
Like,
and
yes.
that right there, like because of shit like that I had dealt with in a couple different locations, was the whole thing of like, I'm never going to go to one of those themed places because I've dealt with this shit in real life. I don't care to go there for a theme of it. Again, if I want to fucking have that argument, I'll argue with someone at a fucking Waffle House. And it's not even going to be the staff, it's going to be a different customer.
Yeah.
There's always a crackhead in the fucking lot or in the goddamn parking lot.
And that's why I don't go to Waffle Houses.
See, that's one thing I'll never understand is those customers at restaurants. Well, especially in drive-thrus. You know what you never do? You never fuck with the people making your food. They have all
Never.
the power in that relationship.
The only way you fuck with someone who's making your food is if you know them personally.
Yes, and even then,
And then
don't
it,
push it too far.
yeah, and with that, it's only digs. But it's been 2 hours and 5 minutes, and shit, we went through this entire thing, and we didn't even talk movies this time, Mitch.
Shocking.
It was a lot of politics and everything. So to do a quick little thing, Angela, is Mr. Adams still doing stuff with Sanguine and Quiz this week?
Mr. Adams taking some time off of
Ah.
the arcade.
Ah.
Okay, so otherwise, you can find 3 of the 5 people here tomorrow on Minions of the Zoo, Minions in Space. I may or may not be there. I believe I have to work late.
Hard.
So
Yeah.
they'll be doing that. Otherwise, you can find the 4 of them. I don't know if Functional is there in the thing for Never Watch Alone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
He's
Yeah.
regular.
Okay. So it is that you'll find the 4 of them. I'm obviously at work in that whole thing. Tier has his midnight show on Saturday, which I believe is also Functional's day for Minions.
Yep.
And Mitch has
Yeah,
his stuff whenever it comes out, predominantly on Rumble. And Angela otherwise still has other stuff in the works, but you'll also find her again on the Never Watch Alone, Tier Saturday show, whatever I'm doing on the Sunday, whether it's a Talking to the Void or a movie review. Next week is the 9/11 movie.
Ah.
Ooh,
Yes, the World Trade Center movie.
Oh God.
Yep. It's going to be one of those.
wow.
I'm just going to call it right now. It's a propaganda film.
Well, this was the 2006 Nicolas Cage, where it's like he plays, I think it's a police officer or a firefighter. I don't have it open.
Okay, then it might be an entertaining propaganda film.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those ones of like the memorial type movie. It's supposed to be like, you know, what happened, like when the towers fell and everything.
Right. But no, I don't want to go into it. That'll be a whole other conversation. We're trying to get out of here.
Well, I know everyone else has other stuff to do and whatnot. So, parting words or final thoughts that don't involve a super slide.
Shadow Walker's rule number 1: don't fuck with our food.
I was gonna say, that's a
The
given.
rule of Internet Fight Club is you do not talk about Internet Fight Club.
Don't be a faggot, faggot.
Just because
Why are you gay?
Just because a dress is red satin doesn't mean it comes off easily.
Or that's come off easily.
Yeah, if you're able to own firearms, buy a gun and make sure you train with it properly. Otherwise, have a good week, folks. I actually had to somewhat wake up early today because I had to go to the fucking post office. We're out of
Look at
here.
this chump working.
Have a
Bye.
good night, though.
Laters.
Bye.
Groovy.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Join us again next week, or you can check out the other people in the panel in the description and see us again plausibly on one of their channels, or just check out what work they've done. Have a good week, everyone.